Hey folks, let's talk about the syllabus for the spring semester of our course. There's not a whole lot that's changed, although there are going to be a few things that we're going to talk about when we meet together as a class. So here, of course, is the syllabus with our class times as scheduled normally Tuesday, Thursday, 9:25 to 10:40. However, as we talked about at the end of last semester, we're going to meet as a class on Thursday mornings from 9:25 to probably about 11. And then we're going to talk about how we're going to meet otherwise with groups within the class. So we'll talk about that when we get together in the first in-person session. So the syllabus structure is the same as before. We are going to be using the second section of our physical chemistry textbook. It's on thermodynamics, and that's going to be the primary structure for the class this semester. However, we are going to start with a review of molecular orbital theory from last semester, and we're going to get in a little bit more into spectroscopy, particularly Raman spectroscopy, in the first week of the class. So we can scroll through this. We're going to be using Wolfram, and I am going to be a little bit more into making sure that we use Wolfram this semester. For those of you who've struggled with Wolfram last semester, I want to make sure that you understand that I'm here to help you learn how to use Wolfram. I think it's an important it's an important skill that you should have in learning how to do just this. Actually, elementary coding is what we're dealing with Wolfram, but I am going to insist that we use it more this semester than was the case last semester. So we have our normal things here in the syllabus, the course description, etc. Learning outcomes. I'm just going to scroll right through this. You can read it on your own. We're going to continue with ungrading as we did last semester. I thought most of you did a pretty good job of assessing your work last semester. You'll note that for the most part, I concurred with your assessment. In some cases, I actually increased the grade above what you had assessed yourself as. Certainly, if you have any questions about that, make sure that you're asked. The basic assignments, again, are going to be solo projects, final project, group projects, and reflections, as we did. There is going to be a difference, and we're going to do 3 solo projects this semester, and the structure of the solo projects is going to be different. And actually, I'm going to be working with you. We're going to talk about this. I'm going to get your perspective on what you think would be the best structure for the solo projects. So just be aware of that as we go through it. We'll talk about this again in our first in-person section about how that's going to be structured. Final project's going to be the same as last semester, going to be oral in nature in groups. I am going to be assigning groups later this week so that we get together and work, and I may be mixing up the groups a little bit more this semester than was the case last semester. Group projects are going to be the same, where we're going to be working again in your groups and submitting groups. We're going to do quizzes. We only did 4 quizzes last semester simply because I felt like we're running out of time, but I'm going to make sure we do more quizzes this semester. The concept summaries associated with the Moodle books are also going to include, in some cases, some problems. When we meet in person on Thursdays, those are going to be basically problem sessions. I'm going to rely on you to view the videos before class and to go through the concept summaries before class, so that we're going to spend most of those sessions working through problems, be they problems from the group projects or actually just simple introductory problems. I certainly got this from reading some of your suggestions and recommendations for the course that we do more problems within class. So we are going to do that on Thursdays. So just be aware of that as we get through this. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about this as the semester progresses. Concept summaries, again, as we mentioned, are going to be attached to each of the videos. And of course, you're going to have 2 reflections, one at the midterm and one at the end of the semester as we go through it. Here is a tentative schedule. You've noticed I've listed it by weeks as opposed to specific dates. And the dates here are the beginning of the week. So for example, molecular review, orbital review, and spectroscopy are going to be done this week, which is the week of January 5th, and next week, the week of January 12th. So these dates here are not class meetings, but they're actually Mondays of the week that we're going to be working on these different subject matters. And of course, we have the important dates for the semester as we progress. So again, there's not a whole lot of structural change here to this. The big differences are going to be really the solo projects. We're going to have 3 solo projects, and again, the design of the solo projects is going to be made with your help. So we'll be talking about this as the semester progresses. So that's the basic syllabus for the class. All right, so the Moodle structure for this course is not terribly different from what it was for the first semester. We're going to see here is the table of contents on the left side as we go through this. Of course, at the top of the page, we have basic announcements and the syllabus. At the time that I'm making this video, obviously it hasn't been posted yet. But then we have scrolling down to the different modules. We have our online resources as before, which I will continue to adjust and add as the semester progresses. Wolfram resources. Again, as I mentioned when talking about the syllabus, I'm going to emphasize Wolfram a little bit more this semester so that you folks get used to using it. I want you to use it on a regular basis, and I want you to ask questions as we go through this. If you're having any kind of struggles with learning how to use Wolfram, I'm here for you to help you get through this. So just be aware of that. We're going to continue to use Wolfram, and you should be asking questions if you're struggling with it. And again, just scrolling down, excuse me, basic instructions for Wolfram. This is the same book that we had with basic information and videos on how to use Wolfram in our Wolfram resources. Just a reminder of all of that. This is a Wolfram Instructions, actually is a Wolfram notebook that's in the cloud that has instructions on a variety and examples of a variety of different things to do with Wolfram. And again, here's another link for a notebook on how to do graphs and plotting. All these are here for you to help you learn how to use Wolfram. And of course, as mentioned, I will repeat this again and again and again, you should ask me if you have any questions. So continuing to scroll down here, we have a variety Wolfram templates as we had last semester, which is just a notebook with basic physical constants which you can use, copy and paste in your Wolfram documents to help you as you develop your own notebooks. We have the final project, the solo project. These currently modules have nothing in them other than for the final project, the basic date for the final project, the group project, of course. Also, there's nothing there. Moodle books. Now, this is one thing that I'm doing a little bit differently this semester. Rather than putting the Moodle books within the individual modules that access them, I am going to be listing the Moodle books in a separate module that you'll be linked. So all the Moodle books for the course will be in this particular Moodle books module. Right now, there's only one that's visible, but as we proceed through the semester and as I begin to edit some of the concept summaries, etc., you will be seeing more and more Moodle books here. But again, all the Moodle books will be in this one module rather than in the individual modules as we see before. So here's our first Moodle book that we're going to be concentrating on in the first week, a review of molecular orbital theory, which these videos were posted last semester. So these are the videos that you had already watched last semester, and these will be basically a review. We're going to get into spectroscopy. Again, the first set of videos here are the same videos that I posted last semester. The only one that's new is Raman spectroscopy, which at the time that I am recording this, I have not yet finished the video on that, but that will be posted shortly so that you're going to be using that. We'll get to that next week as we go through it. So again, that's going to be where the Moodle books are. Class outlines, as before, for each class. I'm going to post a PowerPoint ahead of time so that You can have that with class as we go through things. But again, as I mentioned in the syllabus, the in-class meetings on Thursday will be largely problem sessions. And so I'm going to be lecturing less this semester than last semester. They're going to be basically sessions where we're going to be working on things, and I'm going to be moving around with the groups and helping you go through and solve the different kinds of problems that we're going to be working on. And then we have, of course, the modules for the individual topics that we're going to be talking about. The structure of these will be, again, similar to the structure of these modules in the past that we have here. We're going to have a basic outline of what we're doing in that particular module. There will be additional assignments and things of that nature that will be popping up here as well. Right now, the only thing that's here is class preparation of topics, and so if we click on that, we'll see that, of course, Tuesday, January 6th, we're not going to be meeting, but I will want you to view the syllabus and the video. On Thursday, when we meet before class, you should have reviewed the syllabus, and you should have reviewed the first chapter of the Molecules in Spectroscopy book, which you can just click on. It will go right to the book. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing chapter 1. These are all review videos that were posted last semester, so there's nothing new here. We're going to focus on a little bit on Thursday on HMO theory and how to use Moodle to construct Huckel molecular orbital determinants to do calculations on simple molecules. So that's what we're going to be focusing on, a review of that and looking at that on Thursday. Then next week, we're going to be dealing with Raman spectroscopy. So we'll talk a little bit about that on Thursday. So again, the structure is very similar. There's nothing new here. We're going to get into next week, late next week, we're going to start looking at the first law of thermodynamics and just some real basic stuff. Some of this we'll review, but as usual, we're going to go take it one step further. We're going to take the red pill and get a little bit further down the rabbit hole. I think as we get into thermodynamics, you're going to find that at least intuitively, this is going to be easier to follow than quantum mechanics. This is all stuff that you've seen at least to some degree before. As I said, we're just going to go deeper into this and apply the mathematics to it so that that this will be a little bit more intuitive, easier to grasp than was the case last semester. Again, I want you to be asking questions, and I'm going to be insisting on this, and we'll talk more about this as the class progresses, but you need to be asking questions if you are confused about anything at all or want to go a little bit deeper into this. So please ask those questions. So that's the basic structure, not a whole lot of difference here, but again, make sure you ask questions if you have them.